And welcome to the opening contest of Heartbreak Pay-Per-View, which I apologize was supposed to take place on Valentine's Day, but shit happened. I had to push it back a couple of days. And we are kicking off this pay-per-view with a women's tag team title match, where the Rainbows and AJ and Pinkie Pie are taking on the Sirens of Maya and Lois from Borderlands. And honestly, if I had to pick which team was going to win this match, my money's on the Rainbows, because they just beaten everybody that's faced them in the past. And they've been a couple of times where I thought they were going to lose, but they still managed to pull it out of their butts and retain so far. And AJ is still undefeated as a single star, but Pinkie, well, she's hit and miss. But when it comes to these two being a tag team, they've never lost a match before, ever since they won these titles. And even then, when they debuted, they and lost either. So this is definitely going to be an interesting match to see if the Sirens can be the ones that take the titles off the Rainbows. And here comes Maya and Lilith from Borderlands 1 and 2 and 3. They went in the pre-sequel, kinda. Or at least Maya was, and Lilith was. Cutscenes, at least, beginning and the end of the game, and voiceover. And Lilith is in Borderlands 4. But either way, this will be, if these two maids win these belts, this would be the first title either of them have ever held, in the case of Maya and Lilith, which would be kinda awesome. But like I said, the chances of being the Rainbows in this match are very slim. It's going to take a massive fuck up by the Rainbows for them to win this match. Probably. That or just luck. Either way. And there's the women's tag titles that these two teams are competing over, which Pinkie and AJ have been the only ones to ever hold them since the belts were first established. But it's crazy to think about. And let's get this tag team title match underway between these two teams. And Lilith immediately kicked to the midsection of Pinkie. Into a headlock by Pinkie, and a chin breaker to Lilith there. Misses a kick here as Pinkie. Lilith dodged out the way there. Chop the chest. And a punch and more chops by Lilith there, Pinkie. And Pinkie blocking the chop there. Whiffing the kick there, nailing another spinning heel kick to Lilith there by Pinkie. And Pinkie with headlock on Lilith. Reverses into a drop toe hold. Kick the midsection of Lilith there by Pinkie. Sends her into the ropes. And Lilith reverses it up Pinkie, trying to go for there into a neck breaker. And Lilith off the ropes. Nope. Lilith changed her mind and now she tags in Maya. And Maya whiffing the uppercut there and Pinkie with a headlock into a Hurricane Rana to Maya. Kick midsection of Pinkie by Maya, and another one, and that time she nailed the uppercut, just a punch, another up kick, and Pinkie nailing her with a kick there. Pinkie tags in AJ. Kick the midsection of Maya by AJ, who just whips her into the ropes. And AJ with a neck breaker to Maya there. Maya and AJ both blocking punches from each other and just getting nailed in the face with a big boot from AJ as Maya. And AJ with a go behind. Into a suplex. And AJ just knocking down Maya there. And AJ just dazing Maya with a kick and punch there. And Maya with a go behind and punching AJ in the back. And then Maya with a backbreaker to AJ. And AJ punching Maya off of her. Kick midsection. And AJ with a headlock on Maya. Elbow to face. And now AJ with an armbar on Maya. Misses the discus clothesline. And Maya barely getting AJ with that punch there. Or clothesline. But now Lilith's tagged back in. And Lilith with that weird neck breaker, whatever that was. And an elbow drop, which she kind of missed. Colin elbow tap between the two. Finally, Sean McCarty's going to be happy somewhere. Shout out to CIW. And AJ with a rake to the eyes of Lilith. AJ with a headlock on Lilith. Into another neck breaker. And Pinkie is hyped. Somehow. And now AJ just raining down punches to Lilith. And now AJ picking up Lilith. Kicking her into the ropes. And now AJ putting Lilith on the ropes. And now just trying to choke her out with holding her by her knee on her back against the ropes. There's AJ and a kick to the leg. Springboard by AJ, which she missed. And now Lilith with an armbar on AJ. And Lilith just slapping the back of the head of AJ there. Chop to the chest. And a punch. And another chop. Knocking him in the corner by Lilith. Now Lilith, has AJ set up on the top turnbuckle. Hurricane Rana from the top turnbuckle to AJ by Lilith. And AJ just punching Lilith in the midsection. And AJ tags in Pinky. Misses the kick there to Pinky. And now Lilith just stomping Pinky's arm there. And now Lilith goes suplex to Pinky. Another stomp to the arm of Pinky by Lilith there. And now Pinky blocking whenever Lilith tries to go there, an elbow to the face of Lilith. And Pinky sending Lilith into the corner. Tags in AJ again. And now Pinky hurling her cousin at Lilith. And now Lilith just running over. Maya just dipped out on Lilith and just walked away out of the corner. And now AJ with a suplex of Lilith. Now Maya's back in the corner where she should have been before. And AJ with an elbow drop to the chest of Lilith. Kicked the midsection out Lilith by AJ. Into the corner goes Lilith. Now AJ just grinding her boot against Lilith's face. So, but you get the idea. And another elbow drop to the chest of Lilith by AJ. And now AJ going on the outside. Springboard, but she nailed, and she unintentionally hit Maya too. Standing up on Pinky much? Because that was like some kind of thing Pinky usually does. And now AJ with a neck breaker to Lilith again. And now AJ dragging Lilith away from ropes. Going for a cover is AJ. One. Only one count because Maya broke it up. And now Maya sending AJ into the corner, helping out her tag team partner. And now Lilith with a go behind on AJ and a shot to the back. Forearm in the face of AJ as well. And it's another kick to the back of AJ by Lilith. And a stomp to the back too. And AJ just punches her off. And AJ tried to go for the clothesline from hell, but Lilith reversed it. And Pinky just took out Maya. And Lilith with a headlock and a rake to the eyes of AJ. And now Lilith going for the walls of Pandora. This is her signature submission move. And trying to make AJ tap out. And Pinky accidentally hit the ref there. And now Lilith will go behind on AJ again. And Lilith sending AJ into the corner. Lilith setting up for something here. And Maya and AJ with a spine buster to Lilith. I think Maya took out Pinky too. Springboard by AJ, which she actually nailed. But Gumbo covers AJ. 1, 2, and Lilith kicks out after getting nailed with that springboard. Headlock by AJ. And Lilith reverses it into a clothesline, I think. Now Lilith setting up for something here. And Pinky getting taken up by Maya again, and AJ dodging the drop kick. Whiffing the elbow drop there too. Codebreaker by Lilith to AJ. And now Lilith dragging AJ almost in the middle of the ring there. Now Lilith going for cover. 1, 2, and Pinky just breaks it up with that front flip kick there. And Lilith with punches and a chop to the chest of AJ. And now Lilith dragging AJ away from the ropes. Gumbo covers Lilith again. 1, 2, and AJ kicks out. And now Lilith with a headlock on AJ. Flips her over. And now Lilith trying to go for a submission again on AJ. And Maya just beating the shit out of Pinky, who's trying to break up the submission on AJ. And Pinky just manages to finally break up the submission that Lilith had on AJ. And AJ with an arm drag to Lilith. Well, Pinky finally was able to get Maya off her. And a neck breaker by Lilith to AJ there. Going for covers Lilith. 1, 2, and Pinky breaks it up again. And Lilith and AJ both blocking punches from each other there. And AJ with a go behind on Lilith. Full Nelson by AJ on Lilith. And Maya breaks it up. Arm drag by Pinky to Maya there. And now AJ trying to go for a submission again on Lilith. Everybody trying to win with a submission. And Lilith taps out to the submission from AJ. And the Rainbooms once again retain the tag titles. This time by submission. This went straight into a freaking submission contest towards the end there. First, Lilith was trying to make AJ tap out with submissions, and Maya almost was able to help him win via submission there before. And then AJ was like, you know what, screw this freaking crap, I'm just going to go for submissions as well. And AJ managed to make Lilith tap out, because Maya was too busy doing whatever the heck she was doing. And like I said, Rainbooms once again retain the tag titles, which I am not surprised. I can only imagine who it is that's going to try and step up to face these two again. I can just only imagine. But time will tell. Next match is Angelo Winters defending his Hardcore Championship against Poseidon. Lord knows freaking that match is going to be crazy. And this next contest is the Hardcore Championship no-holds-barred match between Angelo and Poseidon. The only way to win is by pinfall, and no submission. And these two are going to beat the ever-living hell out of each other, I'm sure. Angelo's in his second reign as Hardcore Champion. And him and Poseidon have had a beef with each other ever since Poseidon first showed up and almost took Angelo out of this company when he was having contract issues. It's his fourth world break because Angelo's contract was coming up. And we were in negotiations with him. And Angelo almost took him out. Poseidon almost took out Angelo, but you get the idea. Angelo was gone for a long-ass time after that. And then he came back a while ago and won the Hardcore Championship back in a multi-person match. And now Angelo's finally going to get to settle his beef with Poseidon once and for all. And finally be able to hopefully move on after this. Unless he loses, which is likely, because Poseidon really wants that Hardcore Championship. He's determined to win it from Angelo. He's made that known for a while now. This is all the reason why he took Angelo out to begin with, because he wants the Hardcore Championship. And I did not blame him, because the Hardcore Championship has become one of our most prestigious belts in this company, mostly because of a lot of the people who've held that title. And a lot of people really want the Hardcore Championship and the Internet Championship, surprisingly. And speaking of Poseidon, here comes the former Mag Nation Tag Team and Hardcore Champion. Dude who literally buried Kratos the first match he had in the Mag Nation. And Khal Drago's closest friend. In this company, at least. It's been a minute since we've seen Poseidon in a singles match. It'll be interesting to see if he's improved since the last time he had a singles match. It was a long time ago, if I remember correctly. Last match Poseidon was in that multi-man match that Angelo won the Hardcore title in. And Poseidon's been making it at no point that he wanted this match with Angelo. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens between these two. And then just looking forward to seeing these two destroy one another for this Hardcore Championship. That's definitely going to be interesting, that's for sure. And there's the two participants in this match. Former Mag Nation Hardcore Champion Poseidon. And the current, now two-time Hardcore Champion and former New Gen US Champion Angelo Winters. Hard to believe Angelo made a career for himself in the hardcore division. Never took him as a hardcore guy, personally. But he's made a name for himself here. And these two are fighting over that prestigious hardcore championship, which is crazy to think about, that a hardcore championship is prestigious. And that's the belt that they're fighting over. And let's get this hardcore title match underway. And Angelo immediately into an armbar on Poseidon. And Angelo just punching the big guy down. Now Angelo would go behind that Poseidon. Sends him into the corner. Now Angelo sends him in the opposite side of the ring. Shot to midsection of Poseidon by Angelo. Now Angelo sending Poseidon on the other side of the ring again. Clothesline knocking God of the Sea down. Now Angelo just repeated kicks at Poseidon. And just slams him face first into the ring. And Poseidon with an armbar on Angelo. And just slamming his arm against his knee. Angelo sending Poseidon into the corner. Angelo sending Poseidon shoulder first into the ring post. And Angelo just slamming Poseidon down there by his legs. Go behind by Angelo and Poseidon into a suplex. Angelo with a headlock on Poseidon. Into the suplex. Look at the strength of Angelo there. Back body drop to Poseidon there by Angelo. Angelo sending Poseidon in the corner. Clothesline knocking him down. And Angelo just with a punch and a kick in. Poseidon blocked that punch from Angelo into the armbar. Headbutt to the shoulder of Angelo. And a chop to the chest. And just punches the Angelo there. And Angelo blocks that one into headlock. And Angelo sending Poseidon into the corner again. And a clothesline to the back of the head of Poseidon. And now Angelo going to the outside. Going for the first weapon of the match. And Angelo has a steel chair. And he's just cracking Poseidon with that steel chair. And again. That time he finally went down. Took him 3 shots with the steel chair. Angelo with a spine buster on the broken chair to Poseidon. And a backbreaker to Poseidon there. And Poseidon blocked whenever Angelo tried to go down and kicked midsection. Now Poseidon with a powerbomb to the floor to Angelo there. And Angelo with a pair of punches to Poseidon there who blocks that one. And Poseidon with a suplex Angelo also on the floor. Angelo with a pair of punches again. Poseidon there, another more punches. This was just constantly punching the Poseidon in the face there. And kicked the midsection for good measure. And Poseidon reverses whatever Angelo tried to go there and a pair of elbows to the face. Misses the clothesline. And Angelo misses the clothesline, making wild haymaker there by Poseidon. And Poseidon sending Angelo back in the ring. Shot to Angelo there, and a boot to the face as well. Now Poseidon going for a weapon. Poseidon with a trash can. Just nailing up. Angelo just punching Poseidon in the face, knocking him down, and just sending the trash can flying. Somebody has a guitar in the crowd right there. What is that, Jeff Jarrett? And Poseidon just wandering around the ring, and now Poseidon's back in the ring, and Angelo goes back to the outside. And freaking Poseidon just punching Angelo off the apron there. And Poseidon has a trash can again. Just cracking Angelo with the trash can. He just repeatedly just bashing Angelo with that trash can. Now he finally puts it down. Poseidon just shot the chest of Angelo there into a headlock. Backbreaker there by Poseidon to Angelo. And Angelo with a DDT to Poseidon on the floor. Now Angelo with a backbreaker to Poseidon there. Angelo picking up Poseidon sends him back in the ring. You can only get pinned. Won this match, by the way, we get pinfalls. Since this is no holds barred. No submissions in this match. Well, no submission way of winning, at least. You can use submissions, we just won't win with them. No, Angelo just... Well, he was back in Poseidon for a second there, and Poseidon just kicked in the section of Angelo. Tried to whip him in towards the staircase, but I don't know what happened there. And now Poseidon sending Angelo back in the ring. And Angelo blocking whatever. Poseidon tried to go for there. Elbow to the face. And Angelo another spine buster to Poseidon. Now Angelo going for a cover. 1, 2, and Angelo gets the pin with the spine buster. Angelo Winters retains his Hardcore Championship after these two were just beating the shit out of each other. Slightly disappointed, since I was expecting a lot more from this match, but it's whatever. But Angelo once again retains his Hardcore Championship. Maybe finally we'll be able to move on from Poseidon after this. Lord knows Poseidon's gonna be pissed when he wakes up. Next match is Nova Star defending his Internet Championship against Chris Jericho. From what I've been told, there was made a ladder match, so that's definitely gonna be interesting. I don't remember the last time Nova was in a ladder match, or Chris Jericho. Either way, that's definitely gonna be interesting for sure. Like I said, big win for Angelo retaining his Hardcore Championship. Now I'm just wondering who's gonna face him next for it, and I wish him luck, whoever that is. And this next contest is the Internet Championship ladder match that's happening between Chris Jericho and Nova Star. I don't know who it was that asked for the ladder match. As far as I know, who showed up earlier today, and it was supposed to be a regular match, but I guess apparently CEO wanted it to be a ladder match between the two, and I guess the two of them were fine with that. And here comes the current Internet Champion, Nova Star, who's been the champion for longer than anybody else, according to my records. He hasn't really defended the championship except like one time against Satan, I think, and one time against Zack Ryder. That I know. And now Nova Star has defended his championship against it once again against somebody who's been jumping him from behind repeatedly, and then they had that brawl recently. And now these two are finally going to have their match for this championship in a ladder match, which we don't usually have very often. And this will be Chris Jericho's second match in this company. Second or third, I believe. And all I know is that I know for a fact that Duke Nukem was royally pissed off about what Chris Jericho did to Bandit Keith recently. But Duke was told to stay at home and chill the hell out, because the last thing we need is him launching nukes at the arena. Especially since we don't have a freaking bubble shield right now. Because Master Chief isn't letting us borrow it right now. We can't, but either way. Plus, I don't even know how the hell Duke even get a hold of a nuke to begin with. Because you know how Duke is, he loves his nukes. And here comes Chris Jericho, one of the biggest douchebags in all of wrestling. Or as my friend speaking, Natural Born Thriller say Chris Jericho. Shout out to you, Thriller. My twin, the Lone Wolf, by the way, is still waiting for you to face him for the PWTF title. Just saying. I'm just a commentary guy, so don't think, you know how it is. And I'm looking forward to this match. This is going to be interesting because, like I said, we don't usually do ladder matches very often. Chris Jericho has had some decent ladder matches in the past. Nova, this is his first time, I believe. It's going to be interesting, that's for sure. And like I said, this is Chris Jericho's second match in his company. And it's been a minute since he's wrestled, so I have to wait and see on that. And let's get this Internet Championship ladder match underway between these two. And Jericho immediately with a chop and a punch to Nova. And Jericho sending Nova into the corner. Drop kick to the back of Nova by Jericho. Twisting neckbreaker there by Nova to Jericho. Jericho with an elbow to the face and a forearm to the face. Now Jericho with a neckbreaker under the knee of himself. Now Jericho with a headlock on Nova, who slips out of it and slams him face first into the ring. Jumping leg drop there, which I think he kind of missed. And now Khan have a tie between the two. Sean McCarty's going to be happy somewhere. And now Nova sending Jericho into the corner. And now sending Jericho on the opposite side of the ring. Clothesline knocking him down. Springboard crossbody by Nova, which he nailed to Jericho. And Nova with a headlock on Jericho. Twisting neckbreaker again. Or whatever the hell that is. And Nova with an elbow drop to the chest of Jericho. Kick to the midsection of Jericho as well. And now Jericho sending Nova into the ropes. A weird takedown that a lot of people seem to use this company. And now Jericho just kicking Nova in the face disrespectfully. And now Jericho with an armbar on Nova. Sends Nova into the corner. And now sends him on the opposite side of the ring. Misses the clothesline as Nova dodges out of the way, but he blocks a kick and nails him with the Dragon Screw. And a kick to the back and Nova there by Jericho. Go behind by Jericho and Nova. Into the suplex. But neither of them will try to go for the ladder. Now Jericho with a headlock after a punch and a chop and a headlock takeover there. Now Jericho, I guess you must have heard me. That was weird. Literally, I think Jericho's ass just tapped the ladder and knocked it over. I guess Jericho has a fat ass. I don't know if he can shout at the Scott Steiner, I guess. Now Nova has a ladder. Now Jericho has a ladder. Oh god, we're going to have some lightsaber duels going on with ladders. That would be hilarious. And now Jericho setting the ladder up in the middle of the ring. And now Nova with another twisting neckbreaker, or whatever the hell that is. And now just repeated elbows to the shoulders of Jericho there by Nova. Go behind by Nova and Jericho. Slams him down, and that ladder just fell right on top of both of them. Good job, guys. Elbow to the back of the head of Jericho there by Nova. Punch to face at Jericho by Nova there in a headlock. Elbow to the face as well. Into another headlock, and Jericho just trips him up, and Nova just hit the back of his head on that ladder. And then Nova with a headlock on Jericho. Just punches him down. And now Nova going to the outside. Springboard! Which he nailed. Nova is pretty well known for his high-flying moves. And now Nova with a backbreaker into a Russian leg sweep. And Jericho just hit his head on that ladder too. Now Nova setting up for the dark matter. And he nails it! And now Nova just picking up Jericho, even though he was knocked out there for a minute, I guess. And Jericho, I guess, woke up and nails him with a neckbreaker. And Nova just no-sells that shit, just punches him off. Twisting neckbreaker again. And now Nova has a ladder. And now Nova setting up the ladder. And Jericho knocking Nova off the ladder by pushing it over. Kick to midsection into the DDT by Jericho and Nova there. Oh god, now Jericho setting up for the code breaker. Jericho's right behind you. Nova dodging the drop kick. Kick the shin of Jericho there in a headlock. Uppercut to Jericho there by Nova. Elbow to the face in the chin breaker to Nova there by Jericho. Jericho now's not time to be taunting. And just pair of punches and a kick to midsection of Jericho there by Nova into a headlock. And another twisting neck breaker by Nova. Now Nova springboard, which he nailed. 3 for 3. And now Nova off the ropes, a running leg shot there. Jericho almost like a Kinshasa. Started the Shinsuke. Now Nova picking up Jericho into the kick midsection there. And Jericho sending Nova into the ropes. And Nova just counters out. Jericho tried to go for that into another neck breaker. Now Nova thinking for another dark matter. And he nails it. And Jericho's leg is on the ladder. Springboard, which he nailed again. 4 for 4 when it comes to springboards in Nova's case. And Jericho, the knee to the midsection of Nova. And now Jericho with a powerbomb to Nova. Oh god, now Jericho has the ladder. Jericho going up the ladder, and Nova cuts him off. And Jericho just punching him off. Forearm knocking Nova into the corner. And now Jericho setting Nova on the top turnbuckle. Oh god. And now Jericho Hurricane Rod from the top turnbuckle to Nova there. And then Jericho has the ladder again. Nailing Nova in the face of the ladder is Jericho. Oh god, now Jericho going to the top, climbing up the ladder. He's going for the title. And Nova cuts him off again by shoving him off the ladder. And Nova picking up Jericho. Backbreaker. Into the Russian leg sweep again. Nova, now is not the time to just be standing around. Now Nova setting up for a third dark matter. And the third dark matter to Jericho. And Jericho just no-sells that shit and just nails him in the knee midsection. Enziguri by Jericho to Nova. Stomp to the arm by Nova by Jericho as well. Now Jericho setting up the ladder again. Oh god. Now Jericho going up to the top ladder. Now Nova's going up there with him. And Jericho's face getting slammed against the ladder. Oh god. Drop kick by Nova to Jericho. Freaking from the top of the ladder. And somehow Nova didn't shatter his ankles before he landed. And now Nova going to the top, going for his title. And now Nova trying to pull his title down, and Jericho cuts him off with a shot to the back. And Jericho with a powerbomb to Nova there. And now Jericho has the ladder again. He just had to readjust where the ladder was. And now Jericho going up the ladder. Nova, if there was any time for you to get up, now would be that time, bro. And now Jericho has the title. And Nova cuts him off from pulling it down. And nails him with a powerbomb. And now Nova going to the top. And Nova trying to pull down the title. And Nova retains the title. Thank Christ. After this crazy ladder match, Nova finally manages to retain the title. And I think oh, never mind. I was about to say fourth wall break. I thought the game was frozen there for a minute. But Nova manages to retain his title in this insane ladder match. And there's a freaking drop kick from the top turnbuckle. I mean, the top of the ladder. That was insane. But Nova manages to pull down the Internet Championship, and he retains his title over Chris Jericho. Which I am so happy. Nova, once again, proving why he's been Internet Champion for a long-ass time, and why he deserves to be an Internet Champion. And he intends on being Internet Champion for as long as possible. And the next match is the Intergalactic Championship match between Spawn and Jason Voorhees. which that's going to be an interesting match, that's for sure. And I don't know what's going to happen with Jericho after this. All I know is that Jericho is going to be livid when he wakes up. Congrats on the win, Nova. You deserved it, that's for sure, bro. And this is the Intergalactic Championship match between Jason and Spawn. Spawn got this opportunity to pay back what Jason did to Freddy Krueger during the Inferno match a while back. And Spawn had to beat Master Chief in a number one contender match on Main Event. First episode. And the second one, I forget which one. It was one of those two. In order to get this opportunity. This is the first time Spawn has challenged for a title since him and Slenderman once challenged for the tag team titles, I believe. I could be wrong. Here comes the current Intergalactic Champion, Jason Mother effing Voorhees. Who's been holding this championship ever since he beat Freddy in that Inferno match a while back. It was a Fire as a Hell match, but it was basically an Inferno match. And we haven't seen a head from Freddy Krueger since. And I know he's still employed here, I know that much. I just don't know when the hell he's going to come back, if he ever does. But knowing Freddy, he probably will, because he always somehow manages to come back. He's like freaking Afton from Five Nights at Freddy's. He always comes back. It'd be definitely interesting to see how Jason handles Spawn. Since some of the people Jason has fought in the past, knowing him, he's a good chance of winning this match. And here comes Spawn, who's a bit of a wild card here. And Spawn hasn't really wrestled in quite some time. That match with Master Chief was, I believe, his first singles match in a long time. And I think after this pay-per-view, Master Chief will finally be able to challenge with the world title again, after not being around for like a year. And if Spawn somehow manages to win this match, I would be amazed. Because like I said, Spawn hasn't wrestled that much as of late. But I have confidence in him. And I know Slenderman's not going to be coming out here to help because Spawn usually prefers to do these kinds of things alone. But I know him and Slenderman are still a thing, along with Freddy Krueger and what's left of the Faces of Fear. You know, Jason's probably looking forward to this because he probably wants to be able to say he eliminated 2 members of the Faces of Fear that he used to be teammates with until they kicked him out a long time ago. I think Spawn was the one that they brought in to replace Jason. Now, if that's the case, then Jason has even more motivation to get payback against him. Okay, but either way. I know Spawn's motivated to win this match and the title to get payback for Freddy Krueger against Jason. And Spawn is one of those guys that likes to try and intimidate his opponents when he comes to the ring. But I know Jason, he ain't intimidated at all by Spawn. He wants to freaking wreck his shit. That's for sure. And either way, these two are going to probably destroy each other for this title. And there's the challenger for the Intergalactic Championship, Spawn. His first title match in quite some time. And there's the current champion, Jason motherfucking Voorhees. This is one of those matches I've been looking forward to for quite some time. And Jason just holding up that championship, being like, this is as close as you're ever going to get to this title, my dude. And I will say, Chris Jericho was pissed when he left the ring. He was, again, bitching and complaining the whole way up the ramp. I could hear him. And let's get this Intergalactic title match underway. And Spawn sending Jason into the ropes. Back body drop to Jason there by Spawn. Now Jason with a shot to the back of Spawn there. And Spawn with a belly to back suplex to Jason there. And now Spawn with an armbar on Jason. Sends him into the corner. Clothesline knocking him down. Now Jason with a headlock on Spawn. Elbow to the face of Spawn there by Jason. In the go behind. And Spawn flips him over. Now Con elbow tie between these two. Sean McGuire is going to be happy somewhere. And Jason sending Jason in the corner. Jason sending Spawn in the corner. And Spawn belly to back suplex. And now Spawn sending Jason in the corner again. Russian leg sweep by Spawn to Jason. And Jason flipping over Spawn there. Kicked him second to Jason by Spawn. And just repeated punches by Spawn to Jason. And a headlock. And Jason getting sent into the corner by Spawn. And Jason blocking the punch there. In the go behind. Into the suplex. And Jason with a headlock on Spawn. Into another suplex. Look at the strength of Jason Voorhees there. And now Jason with a headlock on Spawn again. Into the neck breaker. And a leg drop by Jason Voorhees. The Spawn there, sorry. And Jason just trio punches there, Spawn in a headlock by Spawn. Jason just slams him face first into the ring. Jumping clothesline by Spawn there, Jason. Now Jason with just more punches and a boot to the face of Spawn. Now Jason, pair of punches there, Spawn in an armbar. Knee to the midsection of Jason by Spawn there. DDT by Spawn to Jason. Now Spawn dragging Jason away from the ropes. Going for a cover, Spawn. Only a 1 count, surprisingly. And Spawn does another punch to the face of Jason there. Blocks the 1 punch and then Spawn on his own. And a DDT was on there by Jason to Spawn. And another leg drop. Now Jason picking up Spawn. Kicked him midsection, Spawn there. And now Jason already going for the Friday the 13th. Powerbomb! And he nails it. And now Jason dragging Spawn away from the ropes. Going for a cover is Jason. Only a 1 count. What the frick? And now headlock by Jason on Spawn. Into a neck breaker. And now Jason with repeated elbows to the shoulders of Spawn. Now Jason picking up Spawn again. Now Jason setting up for another power bomb. And Spawn reverses into a DDT. Oh god, now what are you doing, Spawn? Really, you're tearing apart my announce table and we're halfway through this show. It's like, really, dude? And now Spawn sending Jason my announce table. Now setting him on the announce table. Oh god. And now Spawn going to the top turnbuckle. And an elbow drop. And Jason through my announce table. And there goes my mic. Freaking, you can't really tell because thankfully I got a backup one, but my mic went flying into the crowd somewhere. Now Spawn just punching Jason in the face before whipping him back in the ring. And now Spawn setting up for his version of the Tombstone Pile Driver. Now he has Jason up. And Jason reverses it into his own Tombstone Pile Driver to Spawn. Turnabout's fair play. And now Jason stealing Spawn's taunt. Now setting up for a second Nightmare on Elm Street Powerbomb. Oh, Friday the 13th. 1 and 2. I forget what it's called. 1, 2, and Spawn kicks out. It's Friday the 13th. I don't know why I keep saying Nightmare on Elm Street. That's Freddy's thing. And Spawn the leg drop after the DDT. And now Spawn just an uppercut to Jason and a headlock. And now Spawn has Jason. And with a choke slam to Jason by Spawn. And Jason just no-sells that shit. Now Jason's pissed. And now Spawn with an armbar on Jason. And now Spawn lifts him up by the arm into the arm drag. Now Spawn sitting up with his tombstone pile driver again, and somebody is making something with their tire. And now Spawn with the tombstone pile driver to Jason. I go for cover. 1, 2, and Spawn wins the Intergalactic Championship. Holy crap, I was not expecting that. We have a new Intergalactic Champion, and his name is Spawn. And only like his second match in quite some time. Lord knows Master Chief's probably in the backstage area somewhere pissed about this. This could have been him. But Spawn wins his first ever championship and gets his payback with Freddy Krueger. Spawn was motivated, I guess, majorly, to get payback for Freddy Krueger over Jason. And now we have a new Intergalactic Champion. Freaking crazy. Now we have to wait and see what Spawn's going to do as champion, though. And the next match is a match I'm personally looking forward to, where Black Panther defends the Global Championship against my boy, Xavier King. And I'm looking forward to that match, like I said. And once again, congrats on the win, Spawn. You deserve it, dude. And this is the Global Championship match where Black Panther defends his title against Xavier King, who won this opportunity in a Fatal 4-Way number one contender match in the first episode of Main Event. And he had to defeat Batman, Marcus Phoenix, and somebody else. I forget who it was, to be completely honest. Leave it in the comments. I'll have to go back and check and see who it was that else he won. Yeah, I know that Marcus Phoenix... What was it that I literally just freaking said? It was Marcus, Batman, and somebody else that Xavier's had to beat. And here comes the current global champion, Black Panther, either way, who somehow managed to pull off an upset over Kenny Omega and beat him for the title. And now Black Panther has to defend his global championship for the first time against Xavier, who is a former world heavyweight champion in this company, former tag team champion with Xander, the current US champion in AOT2, and also former tag team champion in that company, and he's also the current Rumble world heavyweight champion. Eventually going to be defending that title against Jack 6. And he's also a former tag team champion in the AWF. Xavier has held a lot of belts in his career, and he's looking at his second world championship in LWW to his resume. And listen to that crowd cheering for the guy who has been pretty much the main hero of this company and the face of this company since the beginning. Xavier's mother effing King, the boss. And my boy. My twin has had issues with him in the past, but they've worked things out behind the scenes. They still have making rivalry though in AWF, but it's civil. And Xavier, if he manages to win this championship, he'll be able to call himself a two-time world champion, because he'll be holding 2 world championships at the same time, which would be insane, because that's something Xavier has never done in his career, is hold 2 world championships at the same time. That would be freaking epic as all hell if he manages to win this match and add that global title to his resume. And like I said, I've been looking forward to this match for a while, and it's gonna be freaking dope. Probably. All I know is Black Panther would love to be able to say he beat Xavier King, because not very many people can say that they've done that. Plus this is Black Panther's first defense of that global title. And obviously, The Rumble title isn't on the line. Only the global one. Though if Black Panther does manage to retain his title and beat Xavier, he probably would have a case challenge for that Rumble title. But right now, I think Black Panther is more concerned about holding on to this championship. One that he somehow managed to pull a victory over Kenny Omega to win. Kenny Omega is just taking time off. That's why we haven't seen him since he lost the championship. And he deserved that time off because he held this title for a while. And there's a prestigious title being held by the ref. And let's get this global championship match underway. And Xavier's just kicking Black Panther right out of the air. And Xavier's picking up Black Panther, just a slap and flurry of kicks and a kick to midsection of Panther there by Xavier's. And Xavier's with a clothesline to Black Panther there. Xavier's is already showing he's determined to win this championship. And trying to show Black Panther that he's in a whole nother league. And now Panther sending Xavier's in the corner. And sends him in the opposite corner. Clothesline knocking down Xavier's. And they ran right into each other. Khan elbow tap into Xavier. Sean McCarty's going to be happy somewhere. I almost said Xavier's. Black Panther with headlock. Into the armbar. Just slapping Xavier's in the back of the head. And Xavier's just flips him over. And Xavier's with an armbar on Panther. Arm drag by Xavier's there to Black Panther. And Xavier's a headlock. Into another headlock on Panther, who just trips him up there. Now Panther with a chop to the chest and a punch to the face of Xavier's there. And they go behind. Into the suplex. And Black Panther headlock on Xavier's. Sends him into the corner. Watch out, ref. Clothesline knocking down the boss. And Xavier's just deflecting that drop kick. He's like, nah, bitch. In the headlock by Xavier's. And Panther sends Xavier's to the outside. And Xavier's just a forearm in the face of Panther there and try to go for something. Now Xavier's just a kick to the head of Panther there. And now just repeatedly kicking Panther in the face. It's Xavier's king. Now Xavier's an armbar. And another just clothesline to Panther there. I forget what it's called. But I know CM Punk likes to use it a lot. And a kick to the back of Panther there by Xavier's. Now Xavier's just another slap to the face and a kick to Panther there. Now Panther just sending him in the corner after getting woken up by that slap. Now sends him in the opposite side of the ring. Watch out, ref. Clothesline knocking down Xavier's. Now Panther sending Xavier's into the ropes. And Xavier's reverses it into a DDT. And Xavier's with a stomp and a knee drop there, Panther. Now picks him back up. And there's another punch and a kick there. And Panther with a go behind and a shot to the lower back of Xavier's. And another shot to the back. Into the armbar. Arm breaker there by Panther Xavier's. There's a lot of Xavier's finishers that involve everyone using the arm. And now Panther with a suplex to Xavier's. And a Panther with a headlock on Xavier's, who just tosses him off. Oh god, Xavier's, what are you doing? Really, we're going to do this again? I literally just had that thing put back together after the Spawn match. Now Xavier's sending Panther back in the ring. Never mind, I guess he's not going to destroy my announce table, at least right now, anyway. Yeah, I thought so, Xavier's. Please don't destroy my announce table. I'm thinking I don't need to destroy it again. And now Panther with headlock on Xavier's after raking his eyes. Into another suplex. And now Xavier's with a kick to the midsection of Panther in a headlock. And Xavier's sending Panther to the outside. And Panther just a forearm to the face of Xavier's there because he took too long trying to go for something there. And go behind by Panther. And Xavier's flips him over. Really, Xavier's? Really, dude? Would destroy my announce table again after I literally just had it rebuilt? I literally just had that thing put back together. Forearm to the face of Panther there. And now Panther sending Xavier's into the ring post. And slamming Xavier's face against the ring post and just tosses him back in the ring. Panther, you might want to get back in the ring. Reps up to count of 4. Kicked in the section of Xavier's by Panther. And Xavier's with the King's Judgment Driver to Panther. Pulled that out of nowhere like a Randy Orton RKO. Now Xavier's dragging Panther away from the ropes. Going for a cover. 1, 2, and Panther kicks out. And Xavier's a headlock on Panther, and Panther slips out of it, sends him into the ropes. And now Panther with a suplex to Xavier's King Black, bringing him back into the ring. Oh god, now Panther setting up for either a code breaker or the walls of Wakanda. Forearm in the face of Xavier there by Panther. Panther, now is not the time to be taunting, especially when you're fighting Xavier. Code breaker to Xavier there by Panther. Going for cover. 1, 2, and Xavier kicks out. And Xavier's with a DDT to Panther there. And Panther just trips him up. Misses the elbow drop as Panther there. And now Xavier's is pissed. Go behind by Panther and Xavier's. And Xavier's reverses it into a belly to back suplex. And Xavier's picking up Panther. Kick the midsection of Panther there by Xavier's. Sends him into the ropes. Drop kick. And another one. And catches him with the neck breaker to Xavier's. And now Xavier's with the final notice flatliner to the Panther. Now Xavier's rolls him over for a cover. 1, 2, and Xavier's is the global champion. And that's why that flatliner is one of the most devastating flatliners in the business. Xavier's wins his second world championship in the main roster with it. And now Xavier's is a 2-time world champion. And by that I mean he's holding 2 championships at the same time. For the first time in his entire career, Xavier is holding 2 belts at the same time. I guess him and my twin aren't the only ones holding 2 belts at the same time now. Freaking crazy, man. Xavier is a world champion again on the main roster. I am happy for him. And now I just have to wait and see what's going to happen now that Xavier is now holding 2 belts and is a world champion again on the main roster. It's freaking crazy. And the rest of the roster, good luck taking this belt off of Xavier. There's a reason why he was world champion for 168 days. And the next match is a tag team titles match between the Rednecks and Roadhouse Soldiers, where if the Roadhouse Soldiers don't win, they will have to break up for a year. And God, I hope they don't lose in that case. And this is the match for the Tag Team Championships, currently held by the Rednecks FTW, and defending the titles one last time against the Roadhouse Soldiers. And the Roadhouse Soldiers lose, they have to break up for a year. And it goes for the Rednecks as well. Either way, one of these teams isn't going to be a thing for a whole year. It kind of sucks, but that's what they agreed to. And these 2 teams have been feuding with each other ever since the Roadhouse Soldiers showed up back in New Gen forever ago. And now these 2 teams are having one last match for these tag titles after the Roadhouse Soldiers lost the last time that these 2 faced off, which was the only loss they've ever had in their entire careers here in Lone Wolf Wrestling. It'll be interesting to see if the Roadhouse Soldiers can pull it out of the rear ends to win their tag belts, because they really want to win these tag belts, because they've been New Gen Tag Team Champions for like forever. And as far as I know from what I've been told, there'll still be a team on New Gen, even if they do lose, in the case of Roadhouse Soldiers, but they just won't be a team for a whole year on the main roster. And these teams have had a beef with each other, more like a feud between the 2 of them ever since the Roadhouse Soldiers beat the Rednecks in their first match for the New Gen Tag Team titles, which they have held for, like I said, forever. And now we're going to see that feud potentially come to an end, at least for a whole year. Because one of these 2 teams is going to end up breaking up for a whole year, which sucks. Either way, because I like both these teams. A whole lot. One of these teams is going to be walking out with the tag belts, and one of them is going to be walking out no longer a thing anymore. And the fact that these 2 teams are willing to agree to that stipulation still surprises me. And there's those prestigious tag team bouts that these 2 teams are fighting over. There's the current champions who've held the tag titles more times than anyone else, and there's the challengers. And let's get this tag team title match underway, and Jay immediately with a DDT to Tommy died. So now Tommy with a back body drop to Jay. Now Jay with a go behind and a kick to the back of the leg, and misses the clothesline there. And Tommy with a shot to the back of Jay there. Now Tommy with an armbar on Jay. And Jay sending Tommy into the corner. Watch out, ref. Now Jay setting Tommy on the top turnbuckle. Oh god. Punch fist. And now Jay with a freaking superplex to Tommy from the top turnbuckle. And Tommy flips him over after getting nailed with that superplex. Now Tommy sending Jay right into it near the midsection. And now Tommy with just flurry of punches there. And now Jay sending Tommy into the ropes. And Tommy with a bulldog reversal. And another bulldog to Jay. Now Tommy whipping Jay into the ropes again. Back body drop again to Jay there. Now Tommy was beating the shit out of Jay. Now Jay getting picked up by Tommy. Now Jay sending Tommy into the corner. Tags in Zeke. This is Jay. And Jay just tossing Zeke at Tommy. And Tommy was not paying attention to Zeke there. And Zeke sending Tommy into the corner. Tags Jay back in. Off the ropes. Drop toe hold and magnesium elbow. Take a shot. And now Jay turning Tommy around. Sends Tommy into the corner. Now tags Zeke back in. Off the ropes goes Tommy. And another magnesium elbow after the drop toe hold. And now Zeke picking up Tommy there. Clothesline by Zeke there, knocking down Tommy. Arm drag by Zeke to Tommy there as well. And Tommy just punching Zeke in the midsection. Go behind by Tommy on Zeke. Reverse DDT. Now Tommy sending Zeke into the corner. Tags in ATG. Now off the ropes. Double arm drag to Zeke and a double kip up by the two guys from Texas. And ATG just whiffing that punches Jay. And ATG is just tossing Jay back in the ring for reasons. Now ATG with an armbar on Zeke. Shot to the arm of Zeke, but ATG there. And now ATG setting Zeke on the top turnbuckle. Oh god, the big guys. Now it's ATG with a superplex to Zeke there from the top turnbuckle. And the fact the ring didn't collapse is just crazy. Now Zeke reversing whenever ATG try to go for that into a belly back suplex. Calling elbow tap between the two. Sean McCarty's gonna be happy somewhere. Now ATG with a headlock on Zeke. Into the neckbreaker. And ATG just punching the shiznits out of Zeke there. Now ATG picking up Zeke. And kicking a pair of punches to Zeke there. Now armbar by ATG and Zeke. Another shot to the arm of Zeke there. And Tommy just back tagging ATG there. I don't know what the heck that was about. Bulldog by Tommy and Zeke there. Clothesline by Tommy to Zeke there. And an elbow drop. Even ATG was pissed off about that back tag, but it's like, can you really blame Tommy? Their little whole thing as being a team is on the line here with these tag belts. And Zeke just beating the crap out of Tommy there. And Zeke whipping Tommy into the ropes. And there goes ATG off the apron. And Tommy with a bulldog Zeke. Another elbow drop to the back. And now Tommy going for a cover on Zeke. Only one count. DDT by Zeke to Tommy there. And Zeke tags in Jay. And Tommy tags in ATG. DDT by ATG is Jay. And now Jay reversing over ATG, try to go for there. And now Jay, gut wrench into the slam there. Well, kind of. I don't know what the hell that's called. Now ATG sending Jay into the corner, right into the arms of Tommy. Just a chop to the chest of Jay there by ATG while Tommy held him. And now just punching the back of his head and slamming him face first in the leg. DDT by ATG to Jay there. And ATG tags in Tommy again. And now Tommy's setting up for something here while ATG just took out Zeke. Clothesline from hell by Tommy. And now Tommy going for cover on Jay. One. Only one count because he took his sweet ass time. Back body drop to Jay there by Tommy. And now just stomping a mud hole and walking him dry. And now Tommy. Gut wrench slam there. And Zeke trying to grab onto Tommy there. And now he finally grabs him. And now headbutt by Jay to Tommy. Now Jay's just running around in circles for some reason. Now Tom is sending Jay into the corner. Sorry. Tags in ATG. Now off the ropes. Drop toe hold and magnesium and elbow by the Roadhouse Soldiers this time. Turnabout fair play, I guess. Going for a cover. One. And Zeke! He's missed the elbow drop! And somehow with the freaking magnesium elbow, these Roadhouse Soldiers win the tag titles and the Rednecks FTW have to break up for a whole year. That's just freaking hilarious. Somehow with the magnesium elbow of the Roadhouse Soldiers and now the tag team champions. That's freaking hilarious. I was not expecting them to win with a magnesium elbow, that's for sure. And Zeke missing the elbow drop, trying to break up that pin attempt. And now the Roadhouse Soldiers are finally the tag team champions on the main roster. And unfortunately, this means that the Rednecks have to break up for a whole year. It sucks. And I don't know what the heck Jay and Zeke are going to do now as singles guys. You know, Jay's had a few singles matches in his career. And I'm just happy that the boys from Texas are finally the tag team champions on the main roster. And they don't have to worry about the Rednecks for a whole year. The next match is the U.S. Championship match between Jacob Cassidy and Damian Wolf. And I really hope Damian beats that freaking douchebag Jacob Cassidy. And this is the U.S. Championship match between Damian Wolf and Jacob Cassidy, and I still cannot believe that the Roadhouse Soldiers beat the Rednecks FTW with a freaking drop toe hold and elbow thing like from the Magnation back in the day. That is just freaking crazy. Lord knows when Jay got back up and he was walking up the ramp, he was pissed and confused, and he didn't even want to speak to Zeke when he was walking up the ramp either. And Zeke was following him like a lost puppy. Unfortunately, meanwhile, we have this jackass, Jacob Cassidy, coming down to the ring, holding the prestigious U.S. Championship that Damian King had held for almost 300 days. But Jacob Cassidy beat him for it because of freaking that jack-off Xander. assisting him because he didn't. I don't know why he screwed over his own nephew. Xander, he's a jackass and he's a dick sometimes too. Hopefully Damian Wolf can beat this jack off and take this U.S. championship off for him. It would be the biggest championship Damian's held so far because he was a former hardcore and internet champion one time. And he's a former intercontinental champion in the AWF. And here comes Damian Wolf. Probably one of the most popular wrestlers in this company. And I still cannot believe this new updated attire and entrance. It fits him though. He's like my twin. He's a lone wolf, and he's his Indian roots. Well, Native American. You know what I meant. If anybody in the comment section tries to give me shit and tries to cancel me, I just been happy to see him back because he was gone for a long time. I know he's been wrestling on the AWF on and off and other things. But he's just been gone for so long. I started missing the guy. I was starting to get concerned that he was leaving the company like Angelo almost did. But now he's back, and he beat AJ Styles for this opportunity, and now he's taking on the leader of the Reckoning. And I've been looking forward. This is one of the matches I've been looking forward to for a while. Because even though Jacob Cassidy hasn't had that title for very long, I've been looking forward to when he loses that championship ever since he won the thing. That's for sure. Lord knows I know a lot of people in this company are looking forward to it. And there's the challenger, Damian Wolf. He's trying to win the biggest championship he's ever won in his entire career up to this point. And there's a jackass and former World Heavyweight Champion that's currently holding the U.S. Championship. Because unfortunately, he managed to beat Damian for it. You hold that title nice and high, Jacob. Thinking it's hopefully going to be the last time you hold that title. Hopefully. Lord knows for the brief time he's been champion, he's been holding that thing hostage. And there's the prestigious Lone Wolf Wrestling U.S. Championship. And let's get this match underway between these two. And the carnival top between the two of them. Sean McCarty's going to be happy somewhere. Into a headlock by Damian, into the armbar, into the go behind, into a headlock again. And that nails him. Jacob with an enziguri, does Damian. And Jacob blocking the drop kick there. And Damian blocked a kick to the midsection into a dragon screw. And now Damian with a headlock on Jacob. Just punches him down. And there's one with an elbow drop there, kind of. Headlock by Jacob on Damian. Into the chin breaker. And now Jacob picking up Damian. And Damian blocks a punch from Jacob and leg sweeps his ass. And Jacob just punches him off. And Damian just fully punches and a kick to midsection of Jacob there. And Damian was an underhook, a brainbuster to Jacob. And an elbow drop. Now Jacob's pissed. Can't have a tie-up between the two again. Into a go behind by Damian on Jacob. Into a suplex. And Jacob punching Damian off of him. Now Jacob sending Damian to the outside. And Jacob just kicking Damian off the apron there. And now Jacob just putting the stomp and a shot to the back of Damian, who just flips him over. A knee drop by Damian to Jacob there. Now Jacob blocking a punch from Damian there and a punch to the face. A headlock by Jacob and a back body a backbreaker there by freaking Jacob to Damian Wolf there. Sorry. Now Jacob picking up Damian, sending him into the ring post. Now Jacob running back in the ring to break up the ref's count. And now, so does Damian. Now Jacob with a headlock on Damian, who slips out of it. Now Damian just going crazy. You see when he sets up for the Walking with Wolves. And Damian with the Walking with Wolves to Jacob. Into the pin. 1, 2. And Damian Wolf's the new UFC champion. Thank Christ. All it takes is one. And almost every time he hits it the first time, he almost always wins with it the first time. Sometimes it takes 2 or 3. And Damien wins the U.S. Championship once again with the Walking with Wolves. And I am so happy that freaking Damien Wolf is the new U.S. champion. He's somebody that I see a lot of things in the future for him. And now we have one of probably the biggest fan favorites in this company is the U.S. champ. I am so glad that jackass Jacob Cassidy isn't U.S. champion anymore. Something's going on in the backstage area, by the way. I don't know what the hell's going on back there, but I'm being told there's a fight breaking out backstage. So I'm going to get a camera on that stat, because the next match is the women's match. Last thing I wanted to worry about is freaking people fighting and destroying shit in my arena. And we were just about to move on to our next match, and I got told that this was happening back here in this backstage area. Pollution is still livid after losing the Goblin at main event recently. And now Pollution and Goblin just beating the shiznits out of each other at the backstage area, and Pollution just nailing Goblin in the face there and almost sending him into that window. And Pollution is just beating the shit out of Goblin, or at least he was until he got nailed with that drop kick. We need to get these two separated from each other and send some security back here so we can get on with this show. And now these two are just trading punches between one another. And near the face of Pollution and the Goblin, these two just trading blows with one another. And Goblin driving Pollution back first into that window. And now Goblin with a belly-to-back suplex to Pollution on the concrete, almost in that roadie box. And Pollution with a sit-up spine buster. Or powerbomb. We seriously need to get these two separated before they can destroy the backstage area, and we need to get on with the show. Pollution, whatever the frig kind of powerbomb was that, the Goblin there. I've never seen him use that, except maybe like once. We have to get on with the show because we have a huge ass pay-per-view today, and we can't stay focused on these two brawling in the backstage area. What the hell? Zelda's been taken out by somebody. There's Samus, who's concerned for her long-time tag team partner. We need to get some medical help for Zelda, and I don't know what this means for the title match now. And this is the women's title match, which was supposed to involve Zelda, but somebody apparently assaulted her backstage while that whole brawl between Pollution and Goblin was going on. And I guess while security was distracted trying to deal with them, somebody attacked Zelda. And everybody's, I've been told, is assuming it was Sonya. And Sonya was escorted out of the building, apparently, even though she was saying that she wasn't the one that did it. And Lord knows Samus is livid, and she's going to have some things to say after she's calmed down. But meanwhile, we still have a women's title match to go on with. We're now just down to Cammy defending her championship for the first time against Dawn, who's having her first match in quite some time. Ever since she was injured when she was defending her championship against Zelda months ago. And now she's finally back, and now she's finally getting a rematch for the title that she really never lost. If Dawn somehow manages to win her title back, she would be only like the second or third two-time champion. Because Misty was a two-time champion, Rainbow Dash was a two-time champion. I think Serena might have been a two-time champion at one point. Probably wrong. And I know Nessa was a two-time champion too. So Dawn would be like the fourth women's wrestler in this company to be a two-time champion. She'd be an elite company, that's for sure. But Cammy is no slouch, I know that for a fact. And like I said, Dawn's been out for a while, so ring rest is a thing that you have to be worried about. But knowing Dawn, she's determined as ever to win this championship back, even if she has to face Cammy. And it sucks what happened with Zelda, and hopefully we find out what the hell happened. Whether or not Sonya really was the one that attacked her. And Lord knows if we do find out that it was Sonya that attacked her, she's going to be in a whole lot of trouble. And I don't mean just fines. Probably suspension. But we have to make sure we have proof first before we accuse her of something. Especially for some reason the cameras were down in that area. I don't know, hell knows, we'll find out eventually. Probably by the next episode of Underground we'll find out. And there's the prestigious Women's Undisputed Championship, which was the championship that was created when we combined the New Gen Women's Championship and the main roster that we originally had. And those are the two participants in this match. And let's get this women's title match underway between these two. And I still cannot believe what happened to Zelda, and I hope we find out whoever it is that took her out. Because they're going to be in for a heap of trouble, that's for sure. Especially in case of Samus. And Cammy already setting up for something here after kneeling down the clothesline. And Cammy with the Olympic Slam of Dawn there. Which she likes to use. And now Cammy already going for cover. 1, 2, and Dawn kicks out. Kicked the midsection of Dawn there by Cammy. And Dawn with a drop kick as her response. And Dawn with a headlock on Cammy. Sends her in the corner. And now Dawn sends Cammy in the opposite side of the ring. Watch out, ref. Clothesline knocking down their champion right now. And now Dawn with an armbar on Cammy. And Dawn with the neck breaker to Cammy there. And now Cammy. Dawn with a go behind on Cammy. And Dawn sending Cammy into an elbow to the face. Kicked the midsection of Dawn there by Cammy. And Cammy with another Olympic Slam to Dawn. And now Cammy dragging Dawn away from the ropes. Going to cover. 1, 2, and Dawn kicks out again. Punch or a close on there by Cammy. And now Dawn with a headlock on Cammy. And Cammy sending Dawn to the outside. And Cammy just tossing Dawn back in the ring. And Dawn just shoves her up. Kicked it. Cammy there by Dawn, knocking her in the corner. And Dawn with a clothesline to Cammy there. And now Dawn sending Cammy into the corner again. Clothesline knocks her down again. Springboard by Dawn, which she nailed somehow. And they just ran into each other. Kicked the midsection of Dawn there by Cammy. And Cammy with the third Olympic Slam to Dawn. Third time's the charm, I guess. And now Cammy going for a cover on Dawn after dragging her from the ropes. 1, 2, and Dawn somehow still kicks out. Drop kick again by Dawn. I still don't know how the hell she survived 3 Olympic Slams now. Dawn getting moved to the ropes by Cammy. And Dawn with a go behind on Cammy into the headlock. Flips her over. Freaking downward fist to the face of Cammy there by Dawn. Or fist drop, I don't know what the heck it's called. And Cammy blocking the shot attempt. And Dawn reversing with a Cammy trying to go there to a helmet drop and a forearm. And now Dawn just putting the stomps to Cammy there and picking her back up. And now Dawn, oh jeez, with the pile driver to Cammy. Now Dawn dragging Cammy from the ropes. Going for a sharpshooter. Shout out to Bret Hart, even if he is kind of a miserable dick. And he's been an asshole towards my twin on Rumble. But either way, freaking Cammy's crawling away to the ropes, and Dawn for some reason lets her out of the sharpshooter. And Dawn, super kick to Cammy! Now Dawn dragging Cammy away from the ropes. Go for cover. 1, 2, and Cammy kicks out somehow. Drop kick again by Dawn there. And Cammy blocks the punch from Dawn into the headlock. Punch to the face there, knocking her down. And Dawn with the kip up. Dawn with the clothesline and the forearm there. Atomic drop by Dawn. Into the body slam. Now Dawn going for another pile driver. Which she nails. And now Dawn going to the top turnbuckle. And Dawn nailing an axe handle to Cammy there. Going for a cover is Dawn. 1, 2, and Cammy kicks out again. Punch right there, and Dawn blocks that one. Super kick again by Dawn. And now Dawn dragging away from the ropes. Go for a cover. 1, 2. What the hell? Somebody turned the lights off in the arena again, and this isn't the first time this has freaking happened either. I don't know if Don pinned Cammy or not, but somebody needs to hurry up and get these lights turned back on so we can see if Don's still in the middle of pinning Cammy. Like, seriously, what the freak, people? And seriously, somebody needs to check who the fuck is fucking around with the electricity with this freaking arena. I swear to Christ. And wait a minute, Cameron's back up. Cameron's in the middle, pinning Dawn. And Cammy just pinned Dawn after the freaking lights were out. And I don't know what the hell happened, but Cammy has retained her championship over Dawn somehow. I don't know what the hell that was all about. The lights getting turned back on and off. Well, off and on, but you get the idea. But Cammy is still the women's champion after all that. Freaking just crazy, man. I don't know what the hell happened there with the lights. But next match is the main event of this show, which is the triple threat match for the World Heavyweight Championship between Jesus, Jack 6, and Marcus Creed. And can somebody make sure that the freaking power to the arena doesn't get shut off again? That would be appreciated. And this is the main event World Heavyweight Championship match between Jesus, Jack 6, and Marcus Creed. And I still would like to know why the hell the freaking power went out briefly during Cammy and Dawn's match. I don't know what the hell that was about. But hopefully we'll find out eventually. Especially because even though we won't know who the hell we have the security cameras in this arena, because for some reason freaking the security cameras have also been acting up freaking most of the night too. Somebody's fucking around with our shit in the arena. And this is why I've had to start hiring new security guards, because some of these people just don't do shit. But I'm thinking that's another thing for a whole nother time. Meanwhile, we have this huge main event happening right now. Jesus is the first one to come out here. And Jesus defeated Jack 6 for the World Heavyweight Championship in Jack's first defense to win this championship. And Jack's been in full murder boner mode ever since. Jack 6 swears he's going to be on the path of destruction and destroy everybody in his path in order to get this championship back. And he said so himself earlier in the night that he wants to freaking destroy and or murder both Jesus and Marcus Creed. And Jesus is pissed with Jack 6 for not being there for him in that tag team match and recently at main event episode 1, which apparently Jack 6 was begrudgingly part of, even though he didn't want to be. And Marcus Creed is just freaking smiling the entire time and just loving these two former supremacy partners wanting to destroy each other. Marcus Creed probably has the best plan out of all three of these guys. He's just going to pick his spots and get involved when he can and just let these two destroy each other, which I would not be surprised if that happens, because these two freaking hate each other with a burning passion. Jesus, because he swore he would never rejoin the supremacy because he hates the shit that he did while he was a part of that group, and Jack 6 because he just does not like Jesus at all, and a lot of other people. And Jack 6 is just a very angry robot, and a person, one or two. And it's like freaking, we tried getting Jack 6 therapy and trying to get him even a freaking candy bar every now and again, but that doesn't seem to be working. More so the therapy. The candy bar seems to be working though. Sometimes. As long as it's like a freaking Snickers. Everything else he gets really pissed off. This has been the key. There's a reason why we haven't seen him in a while, because he ate a Snickers and Jack 6 swore he was going to murder him if he ever saw him again. And here comes Marcus Creed, also former World Heavyweight Champion, who lost the belt to Jack 6 after being champion for 110 days. And now Creed's trying to become the first ever two-time world champion, as is Jack 6. The fact we haven't had a two-time world heavyweight champion in this company is amazing. I'm amazed that we haven't had anybody win the championship more than once yet. First champion was Scorpion, who held it for a week after he was made the first champion in a house show, and then he lost it to Xavier in the first ever video that was ever posted for this promotion. And then Xavier held it for almost 170 days, and he lost it to Ash because of Jack 6. And rest is history after that. And I still feel bad for Darth Maul because he only held it for like 1 day, even though it was less than a day. But you get the idea. And there's the prestigious World Heavyweight Championship of Lone Wolf Wrestling. And there's Creed, former champion, the current champion Jesus, and also former champion Jack 6. And let's get this triple threat match underway between these three guys. And Jack 6 was just wailing away at Jesus, and Creed sending Jesus in the ropes. And Jesus with a DDT to Creed there. And Jesus already going for the heavens bottom of Creed while Jack 6 is just watching. And Jack 6 is going right after Jesus again. And Jesus with an elbow drop to the chest of Creed after his stomp. And now Jack 6 and Creed double teaming Jesus. And now Creed just punching Jesus repeatedly in the midsection while Jack 6 held onto him. And Jesus blocking the punch from Jack 6. And now Creed and Jesus double teaming Jack 6. And now Jesus was repeatedly punching Jack 6 in the midsection. And he just punched both of them at the same time there. And Jack 6 is with a clothesline taking down Creed. And now Jesus with a heaven's bottom to Jack 6 as well. The elbow covers Jesus and Jack 6. 1, 2, and Creed breaks it up with an elbow drop. Now Jesus with an armbar on Jack 6, and Jack 6 reverses into a headlock. And now Creed and Jack 6 double teaming Jesus again. And Jack 6 repeatedly punching Jesus in the midsection again. Clothesline by Jack 6 to Jesus there. And Jesus shoves him off. And Jesus with a second heaven's bottom to Jack 6 there. And now Creed trying to steal a pin. And Jesus breaks up before even a 1 count. Now Creed with a headlock on Jack 6. Now Jesus and Creed teaming up on Jack 6 again and nails him with a Russian leg sweep. Oh God. Springboard by Jesus and one by Creed, and Creed missed because, physics in this game. Now Jack 6 and Creed double teaming Jesus again. And just more punches to the midsection of Jesus by Jack 6. Reverse neck breaker there, whatever the heck that is, by Creed to Jesus. And now Creed picking up Jesus, and Jack 6 getting a shot in the, and Jesus with a second heaven's bottom of Creed. Now Jesus going to cover Creed 1, and Jack 6 breaks it up. Springboard by Jesus, which Creed deflects there. And Jesus just kicking Jack 6 away from him. Now Jack 6 and Creed double teaming Jesus again, and just more punches to the midsection of Jesus there by Jack 6 while Creed held on to him. And Jack 6 just punched both of them there, and Creed with a few punches to Jesus. And now they just keep doing this repeatedly to Jesus. And I'm sure Jack 6 is just loving it every single time, being able to just punch Creed Jesus in the midsection, and Creed getting nailed with a third heaven's bottom. 1, and Jack 6 breaks it up. Springboard by Jesus, which he nails on Creed. Springboard again, which he nails the Creed again. What is it when Jesus is just constantly going after Creed with springboards? And Jack 6 with a decapitating clothesline of Jesus there. And now Jack 6 going for cover Jesus. 1, 2, and Jesus kicks out. And Jack 6 is knocking down Jesus with that punch. And now Jack 6 tried to go for submission on Jesus, but he got to the ropes there. And now Creed back up. And Jack 6 and Creed with a double gut buster to Jesus there. Now Jack 6 tried to go for something there, but Jesus reversed it into a DDT. Oh God, now Creed going for a spring cover, but Jesus breaks it up with a springboard. And Creed with a flurry of punches, and Jack 6 blocks that one. And a clothesline and taking down Creed. Now Jack 6 is just pummeling the hell out of Creed here with these repeated punches to the face. And now Jesus is back up. Now Jesus, heaven's bottom to Jack 6 again. Jesus going for covering Jack 6. 1, 2, and Jesus gets the win over Jack 6 and Creed with the heaven's bottom. While Creed was dazed. And he pinned Jack 6 a second time. It took like 3 heaven's bottoms to both these guys. 4 in Creed's case. But Jesus manages to retain his championship and pulling the win out of his ass there. And Lord knows Jack 6 is going to be livid, especially since he was the one that got pinned. But Jesus somehow manages to figure out a way to retain his World Heavyweight Championship. And what happens after this when it comes to Jesus and his title? Who knows? All I know is I know that Darkseid is the King of the World Champion still, and Lord knows I'm not looking forward to whenever he has to defend that championship, and if he somehow manages to retain it 3 times in a row. But if you like this video, which I apologize for the wait for it, leave a like, comment, all that stuff. I'll see you in the next one. Peace! I'll see you later. And congrats on the win, Jesus. Lord knows you needed it, and or deserved it.